Oh, wait, sorry.
What's going on? Hey, DragonCon, thanks for going virtual with us. We're here with one of the MVPs of the convention, Eddie. Thanks for kind of making it out digitally to our show this year, friend.
Hi, guys. Hi, Chris. Hey, DragonCon. How
Yeah.
are you?
Matt,
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for taking the time out, because you have become one of the mascots of the show, especially these last few years. I mean, you've been coming for many, many years at this point, and you've really embraced the culture of our brand of weird. And
Yes.
welcome to the family, and thanks for being, that fun Uncle Eddie to us.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I was saying earlier, to me, DragonCon is the giant land of misfit toys, and personally, I want to be a dentist, so I seem to fit right in,
Right.
Um, I can tell how everybody needs the release of DragonCon. You can just, everybody there is there for, it's all, you never hear about, a riot breaking out at DragonCon.
Mhm.
I mean, you may hear about a few bunless chap Ohuras that got into a tete-a-tete down in the lobby, but never anything that's, it's all love. So
Right.
I love being a part of it.
Yeah, it's a culture, it's a family, and like when we all realized that we were gonna have to go virtual this year and not be together, like on my own personal social media, I'm sure you've seen it as well. It's like people put a lot of love into this convention, and they're not having that outlet. Like, we openly admit, like, DragonCon Goes Virtual is awesome, but it's only going to get you part of the way there. But we're going to get you as close to that love as we can. And
Right.
you've been a leader in that by hosting, the masquerade the last couple of years. In fact, you're actually hosting our masquerade this year as well, but digitally. How is that going to work out for you?
No idea.
Yes. Just like a live show.
Yeah, I mean, it's all flying by the seat of our pants, and
Right?
and Tony is really good at that, and so we kind of help each other in that respect. It's like it's a team effort,
Yeah.
just like everything else. And I have to say, big props to you guys for putting together the virtual con, which it's not like being there. We all know that, but it's the next best thing, and it shows a lot of love to the fans, to the people, to the conventioneers, that you guys are willing to do this.
Right.
Despite you're not. It shows that you're not really doing it for the money. You're doing it for the love of the convention and the
Right.
people.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the strengths of people, I guess, don't realize, even though that we throw on a convention for 80,000 of our friends, that it has that mom and pop shop feel to it, because it's by fans for the fans, and there's definitely a degree of we want to make sure the fans still feel that, and so thank you for being a part of it. I know personally we can't talk about it too much, but you've helped me out with a video that we're going to be airing during the masquerade. On top of people watching the masquerade as a host, he'll also be in the halftime show. And it's just been a wild year, and I believe the community has really come together. Social media has been great for that. You've always been active in social media for years. How do you feel like that's kept you connected during the pandemic?
It's kept me connected in a lot of ways. Some ways, I wish it would connect me a little less. But it gives me a lot of times, you just see things that give me hope, like the being able to still talk to the fans, reach out to people. I don't know. I mean, I guess fans, it's a weird word for me. I always felt like, I'm just a guy from Ohio who got lucky enough to be able to make a living doing, as an actor. But I just feel like they're friends, they're friends. And so being able to stay in contact with friends despite not being able to see them in person, you know, it's like the last connective thread that we have. You know, it's not as good as being in person. When I'm at the con, anybody who stands in my line is going to get a hug from me.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
I had probably, you know, one of the two most memorable experiences at DragonCon, that really are memorable for me. I had a young lady come up to me who, she was kind of in tears, and she had been thinking about, she'd been suicidal, and this was like maybe my first or second year at DragonCon, and so I was still sitting behind the table because I thought that's what I, you know, was supposed to do. Everybody else did that, and she and I started talking, and I could tell she was, you know, really hanging by her, you know, holding on by her fingernails. She told me that she had realized that she was gay, and she was having problems. She was afraid to tell her parents because she thought that they were going to disavow her, you know. And I got up and I came around the table and I just gave her a big hug, and I just stood there with her, and I just, you know, we talked for a while. And the next year she contacted me via, you know, Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and said, you know, I thought about what you said to me, and I ended up telling my parents, and they are fine, and they love me, and thank you so much. You changed everything for me. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, you know what, from that moment on, I was just like, you know, I'm just going to stand out in front of my table instead of sitting behind the table. I'd rather be connected. Yeah. And I hug everybody. Some people don't want a hug, right? But it's like, you know, I'd rather hug a few people that don't want hugged than to miss the person that really needed it.
Yeah.
And so that's just what I do. Yeah.
So. Some people like I'm a hugger, but there are people that need hugs and they don't know how to communicate that, right? And right. So to hear that you're putting yourself out there, like I can attest to the popularity of your hugs. I think there's a competition between like you and Doug Jones, who gives the best hugs. You know, yeah, DragonCon. So well,
Doug and I need to hug each other and see.
We need a hug off.
Yes, exactly.
This is a competition we're brewing in the works. Programming.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing. Like when you get into the acting, you know, you're not necessarily setting out to become that role model, but I feel like there's that moment where you're like, okay, I still want to be better for these people who are coming to me and being personal, because they're bearing it all like that, and that has to be surreal. I mean, it's amazing what this world can bring, what brings people together in this world.
Absolutely. And the other thing I should mention, I was at a convention up in Dallas, and a young kid came up to me, had a bit of a limp, you know, and we started talking, and he just said, you know, I was in a Marine, U.S. Marine Corps, the United States Marine Corps sniper group, and I stepped over a remotely detonated IED and had to get medevaced out, almost lost both of his legs, was in the hospital, 17 surgeries I think he had, and was in the hospital at least for a full year. And he goes, all I did was watch Warehouse 13. He goes, and you saved me. He goes, you saved me. And the next day he came up to me and he was like, I want you to have this. And he brought me his Purple Heart.
What?
And
holy wow.
And I just said, you know, brother, I can't take your Purple Heart from you. I thank you. It's such an honor, but I can't take your Purple Heart. And he said, it's okay, because I have another one, because I got blown up in Iraq too. So I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I have that Purple Heart, and it's in our safe, and it is, you know, probably the biggest compliment, the biggest payoff for me as far as being an actor, to be able to, you know, in some way help save this kid who, you know, fought for our country, which is again why I mean, I love and respect our veterans, and I know, excuse me, I know we have a lot of veterans that come to the conventions. I get to talk to the veterans too, so yeah, I mean, you know, it's it makes me go, oh, okay, so I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing in regards to, you know, my life. So
there's the feeling of I'm actually benefiting the world, even just in small ways, but you're doing it in major ways. You know, you're using your position in a fantastic way to keep people connected. You give so much hope to anyone around you, anyone who interacts with you. Like, you were easily like, hope is my motivation in life, and you were easily one of the most hopeful and genuine people I've ever met on this planet, Eddie.
So thanks, Chris. Yeah, thank
man, you are a leader in that regard.
Thanks. I mean, you know, you know, I'll be 20 years sober, clean and sober, January 1st. You know, I was headed for not much. Let me tell you that. You know, I was on a path of self-destruction, and somehow, you know, whatever it is, whether you call it, you know, higher power, God, whatever, something helped me, and so I feel a responsibility to myself and to the people around me to try and just show some humanity. Yeah, you know, just show some humanity, and you know, I have dark times, and I go through my own struggles, so I empathize. You know, like I get it. I understand what people are going through. You know, and so I work very hard at trying to bring some, like I said, humanity.
Yeah. Empathy is something that I feel like everyone can definitely deal more of in this day and age, and anything we can do to bring more of that to the table, I'm gonna be in favor of. So keep on being yourself in that regard. And
thank you, buddy.
Again, personally, love you on that.
Thank you.
To kind of come up a little bit,
yes,
because that was a really important conversation. But you know, conventions have also just kind of been a social environment for you and things like that. And I know the last time we chatted, you may or may not remember, I asked you what your big geek thing was. You're like, oh, I'm not that big of a geek, but I like football. We had a little fun football conversation, you with Ohio and me from the Tennessee team. So, but in that time, like, have you still found anything that at the convention, beyond being there for the fans, that like, you're like, oh, well, that's a cool thing. Maybe I'll get into that after all. Has there been any geekery in your life?
Well, I don't know what I don't know. I may have been fronting, as the kids say, when I said that I'm not
I had
a geek.
feeling.
I mean, if you
this is why I'm calling you out, because the background here, right?
You know, let's see. I got where is it?
Some beautiful.
You know, I've got Godzilla.
Right?
I've got Earth versus the Flying Saucers, or the Saucer Men. I got King Kong. There's a Alex Saviak drew me a Spider-Man back there. Let's see, over here I have a friend of mine drew the Hulk versus. He was like, what super battle would you like to see? And I was like, I want to see the Hulk versus Frankenstein. And he created this amazing painting, and he put a Warehouse 13 shirt on it. I mean, I love Godzilla. I love King Kong. I love the old, like we spoke about earlier, the 50s sci-fi horror, Universal horror. So whenever I get a breather from the convention, I always try and walk around and check out you know, what other people are into. I love walking down the line and seeing actors that I admire that I've never met. You know, it's kind of an excuse to, you kind of have a pass to be able to go, you know, go over and meet somebody. And I remember the first time I loved Bruce Campbell. I was an Evil Dead 2 fan for years and years, and Bruce Campbell is really one of the guys that that I thought maybe I could do this. You know, maybe you know, he was kind of an inspiration to me. And you know, I got to meet him, and I got to hang out with William Shatner and meet William Shatner. I mean, I'm just as starstruck. You know, it's like people come up and like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't really know what to say to you. I feel a little, and I'm like, look, I get it, but you don't need to. I'm just as starstruck and just as foot in the mouth, goofy, stupid as you feel right now. So, you know, let it hang out. Let's just stand here and talk. And nothing that you say to me could possibly be as humiliating as when I met one of my heroes, Richard Dreyfuss. So,
there's a Richard Dreyfuss story. Do you have time to get into that, or you want to skip? You want to dance around that one?
Sure, I'll give you the I'll give you the abridged the abridged version. 1975, my dad and mom took me to see Jaws. It blew my mind. I wanted to be an oceanographer. Everything was about great white sharks. I drew great white sharks everywhere, drawing great white shark. I actually have you know, great white shark tattoo. I've been to Australia and went cage diving with the great whites. Anyway, so I was at a convention and Richard Dreyfuss was going to be there, and I had heard before the convention that you know, I had read that there had been. It wasn't like I made it up out of the blue. See, I'm trying to cover my butt here. That there might be some dementia problems with occurring with Richard. So I was in the green room basically by myself and one other person at my table. There was maybe, you know, a couple people, and we were talking. I was like, he goes, yeah, I picked up Richard at the airport today. And I was like, oh, how is he? Because I had heard, you know, is he okay? I'd never met him. I'm really looking forward to it. I heard that he had some dementia issues, and he was like, no, he seemed really fine. And I was like, oh, good, that's great. And so I'm over at the snack table having a carrot, and this lady comes up to me and she goes, you know, I heard what you were saying about Richard, and it's not true. And I think that you should not be speaking that way, because Richard just wrote a book. He just direct play. He does many things. And for you to be saying that, it's not good. It's not right. You start a rumor. And I was like, oh my God, no, I would never. I wasn't trying to do that at all. And I meant no disrespect. And she was like, okay, well, you should not be do that. And I go, oh yes, of course. And then as I'm standing there, somebody walks in and says, Mrs. Dreyfuss, Richard is here. And I turned, and it's Richard Dreyfuss's wife. So I go over to her and I say, I'm so sorry. You know, honestly, I never would do that. And anyway, so he comes in. And I'm sitting with Saul Rubinek, Artie, and I tell him the story about, you know, what had just happened. And he's like, you know, he laughs at me. He always is just like face palm all the way, because I'm such a, you know, I squeak, you know, I squeak. And so Richard came in, I walked over and I'm like, hey, Mr. Dreyfuss, hey, I'm Eddie McClintock. I'm on a show called Warehouse 13, but I've always been such a huge fan of yours, but I don't want to be weird. I don't want to, you know, get in your face. I know we're in the green room, so I don't want to take your time, but I'm such a big fan, and I just think you're great, but I'm not like a weird, like stalkery fan or anything like that. But here's my shark tattoo. So I went right from I'm not a weird stalkery fan to look, I had a shark pushed into my skin with needles, and he just recoiled, and I was like, this isn't going the way I wanted it to go, and so I walked back to the table and I was just sitting there. I felt so stupid, and it just was. It's just not good.
I mean, we're only human. We all have those moments. I can't get to the story here because we're out of time. But I mean, this convention has led to similar moments for me where I'm like, oh, this person's my hero. Oh, this is my foot in my mouth. I've made a mistake. You know, it happens. But, you know, maybe someday someone will come up to you with their own shark tattoo equivalent. And then you can have the other side of that story.
But, you know, and the thing is, you sit there and you beat yourself up about it, but he's forgotten about it.
Yeah.
He's already forgotten about it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's already forgotten about it. You're still dwelling on it. So, I mean, I guess that's a little anecdote, you know, like just be yourself, man. Yeah. I mean, you know, foot in the mouth or no foot in the mouth.
Yeah. It happens.
So that's what I try. I mean, we're all just struggling to do the best we can, right?
You also help maintain, you have your annual shirts that you do for DragonCon as well, like that. I want to kind of touch on that as we close out here in a second. You've already announced this year's pattern, I believe. Tell us more about like the shirt project that you do with this team.
When I started doing Warehouse 13, I realized that I personally thought that the swag that was being offered to the fans just wasn't, you know, what I would want as a fan. And so I wanted the shirts to kind of bring the fans into the process, like they were a part of the show. So like the first shirt was Warehouse 13 security. So like if you were wearing the shirt, you were on the security detail. I've done a shirt, the Federal Bureau of Regents.
Right.
So with a regent thing on, so then you became a regent. You know, it was more inclusive than just a shirt that said, you know, Warehouse 13 on it. And then this year, when we realized that we weren't going to be able to have the convention, I contacted DragonCon and said, you know, this is my idea for the shirt. Do you think that it would be okay if I did this? Because I think this is a special time. And they said it was okay. So for the first time in all these years, the shirt has, it's the Warehouse 13 Department of Infectious Artifacts, DragonCon division.
Right.
So it's very specific to DragonCon, and you know, on the website it says, you know, we need agents, we need DragonCon agents that work for the Department of Infectious Artifacts to go out and to, you know, smile and be friendly and bring hope to people, and like we talked about earlier, you know, like this is a special time. This is a strange time. We're disconnected. Anything we can do to feel connected to the earth and to one another. I mean, not to get too, you know, la-di-da, but
however you want.
You know, it's important, man. It's important. I know how important it is to me, you know. So and I really kind of, you know, it's kind of expensive and stuff, but they're for the first time I did like a 5-screen full color shirt that's got a big dragon on the back busting out. Thank you. Through busting out through the virus, you know, kind of it has its mask, snag it, bag it, tag it. So it's almost like it's not really a Warehouse 13 shirt as much as it is just a DragonCon, we are together type of deal.
Yeah, you've been an integral part of this community for years, and I think having that shirt be as integral is just, it's perfect, my friend. Where can we find you on social media so we can access these shirts?
Okay,
lay it all out for us.
Yes, on Instagram it's at Eddie McClintock.
Okay.
There were some clones out there that were dragging some of my people, and so they finally verified my account. So it's a verified account on Instagram.
Cool.
It's at Eddie McClintock on Twitter. It's also a verified account, and I'm Eddie McClintock on Facebook. I mean, between now and then, I'm going to be blasting this, and I'm sure all the people are sick and tired of seeing my shirts, but I don't care. It's Eddie McClintock, wh13tshirts.com is the direct site to the t-shirts and posters. I made posters this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
for people that the t-shirts are expensive, and I was like, I wanted to give some for people that because not everybody has the cash. No one's working, and so I wanted to offer something that would still be a part of the convention, that would be a little less expensive. So
yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous art. Definitely get it out there, share it. Thank you for giving back to the fans in your own way. Before you go, though, we have our typical final question from the bowl here.
Let's do it.
You may or may not recall, we draw random colors. So we got some green, yellow, orange, and pink. Any color preference?
Let's go orange.
Orange.
Please.
Here's a good one right here in the middle. All right. Your question. Apropos.
Sounds great.
Calls on you to relax. What landscape do you retreat to? Is it a beach, desert, mountain? Like, where is your escape to find your relaxation, Eddie?
There is a place called The Cove in La Jolla, California. It's down in San Diego. My grandparents, their ashes, my cousin swam my grandparents' ashes off the cove into the water and put them in the water. When I was a kid, we used to go cliff diving there. And then as a young man, before I started acting, I would go to the cove at night I used to read Charles Bukowski because I was edgy and dark, and I would bring a light and I would sit at the cove and read Charles Bukowski.
Yeah.
And then years later, I walked to that same place and I asked my wife to marry me. And so, being at the cove and being with my grandparents and being with my past and being near the ocean, because I love the ocean and the great white sharks and the vastness of the ocean and the power of the ocean. That to me is where I guess I would get my relaxation and my power.
Yeah. Man, the Cove, that sounds beautiful. Eddie, I hope you get the chance to go back there soon. And I hope that we'll see you back in Atlanta next year, if not sooner. Thank you for your time. I love you as a friend, and thank you on behalf of the convention and our fans for being here today.
Back at you, Chris. Thank you so much for the good words. And everybody out there, have a good time. Live long and prosper. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Later, Chris.